In this video, we are going to look at some example for different operators. In the last video, we learned about different group of the operators that Python offered to us to run different operations. So let's see some real examples. Okay, to do that, let's go and open the Visual Studio Code. In fact, to save time, I created a file, operator example, and I wrote the code for you. So the first group of operators, they are arithmetic operators, if you remember. So if you have two variable, a and b, and if a is equal 10 and b is equal 3, then we have the addition. It will add them together. Subtraction, multiplication, they are very simple. I'm not going to explain those. Division, and then we have the floor division. If you remember, this is, let me to run that one, and I will show you the difference between those two methods. So operators example. If you run the code, so the addition is 13, subtraction is 10 minus 3 will be 7, multiplication will be 30, division will be 3.3333 somethings, and then the floor division, which is here. So the floor division will be 3. Why? As I mentioned, it will try to remove the decimal part of the division, and we have the modulus, so it will try to return the remainder of the division, which is 1, and then we have the exponentiation. So in fact, a is 10 and b is 3. It means multiply 10 3 times by itself. 10 times 10 times 10, which is 1000. So this is the arithmetic operators. So let me to convert this code to the command and then bring the next group of operators, which is the assignment operators. So in the assignment operators, what we have x and y. X is equal 10 and y is equal 5. So if we have just simple assignment, as you can see, it's a 1 equal. So if you write down a equal x, in fact, it will assign the value of x to the a. And then if you run that, so let's save the code and run the program, a will be 10, as you can see. Why? Because we assign the x value to the a, and it will try to calculate the right hand side and assign the value of right hand side to the left hand side variable. We have the plus equal, which is if you remember, if you have something look like that, in fact this one is equal to x equal x plus y, so they are similar. So in fact, but this is some sort of shorthand version of this equation. So it will try to sum up x with y and put the result inside the x. So at the moment, x is 10 plus y will be 15. 15 will be assigned to the x. And if we try to print the x, the result will be 15. Subtraction and assignment or subtract or minus equal, it will try to subtract the value of y from the x and assign the result to the x. So at the moment, x is 15 and y is 5. 15 minus 5 will be 10, and 10 will be assigned to the x. And so on. Multiplication, the result. So Now x is 10, y is 5, multiplication will be 50. Now x is 50. And then division, so x divided by y, 15 divided by 5 will be 10, but the result will be a float number, and because of that it has a 0.0. And we have the modular equal. As you can see, the remainder will be 0, because 15 divided by 10 will be 0. And then we have, if we have something look like that for exponential assignment, so x equal to y equal 3, then x exponential equal, it means try to multiply 2 3 times. 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. And the floor division, for example, if you have x equal 17 and y equal 3, the floor division equal will be 5, because if we try to divide that, division will be 3.4 somethings, but it will drop the decimal part. Great, so this is some sort of assignment. Assignment operators. The next group, there are comparison operator, when we try to compare two value or two expression together. For example, if you have x equal 10 and y equal 5, then if you look at that, we wrote is equal x equal y. So in fact, this expression try to calculate the result of this part, and equal is for comparison, if value of x is equal y or not. So because x is 10 and y is 5, so the result will be false. The result of the comparison operators always a Boolean value, and then we will put that one inside the is equal, and it will print the is equal, which is a false. Not equal, so if we write down is not equal x, not equal y, in fact it will calculate that one. So x, which is 10, not equal 5, true, and it will put the true inside the not equal. Yeah, and it will print the true. So let me to save the code and run the code to see the output. And as you can see, x is equal to y is false, x is not equal to y is true, greater, we have greater, so x is greater than y, it's true, so it will print the true, and x less than y will be false, or x greater or equal to y, or x less or equal to y. So as you can see, they will return the Boolean value. One of the things that I want to mention here is the debugging. I think is really important, especially when you are using operators or when you try to debug your code. You need to have the debugging skill. So you can put a breakpoint by clicking one of those lines, for example, here or there. So I just put a breakpoint right here, and then you can run your code in a debug mode. So at the on the right top corner of the Visual Studio, you can see the run button, and then you can convert this run to the debug Python file. And if you click on the debug Python file, the Python interpreter try to run the code and wait for your command when it reach a breakpoint. So if I hit that, it will run the code and it will change the environment. And as you can see, it is run the code, and when it reached the breakpoint, it waits for me to run the rest. And as you can see, there is some specific button that you can use them. If you want to continue running, so you just need to press F5, or if you want to run this line of code and go to the next line of code, you can use the F10 or step over, or if you want to dive inside the code, step into or step out. So you have different options. At the same time, the good things about the Visual Studio Code environment, you can see the value inside the variables. At the moment, for example, we have x and y. X is equal 10 and y is equal 5. And if we run this code, so we just need to press the F10, and if you press the F10, it will run one line of code. So if you look at that, so F10, just press the F10 and run the code, and as you can see, it will add the is equal to the list of the variable. Also, you have the watch. You can add specific variable to see during the entire running. So now this is the output. If I run and, for example, press F10 again, it will print this expression in the output. As you can see, x is equal to y, false. Yeah, so on. So this is one of the best way to check your code, to find the problem in your code or check the expression inside the code. I will try to press the F5 and continue the running just to see the output in one run. So if I go back to the normal running environment, so I will make those to the comment, and we will go to the next group of operators, which they are logical operators. So if you have the P and Q, P equal true and Q equal false, then P and Q, so it will try to use the logical AND operator. And we said the result of the AND will be true if both side is true, both sides are true, but in this case one side is false, so the result will be false. And the or P or Q will be true because one of them is true, and P not P, so it will try to reverse the value of P, which is a true, and the reverse of the true will be false. Or not Q, the reverse of the Q will be true. So let's run the code again. Operators example. As you can see, x is equal to y, false. Oh, I need to save that one. Just bear with me. Again, if we try to run, logical and false or true, and not p is equal false because p is true and not q is true. So there are some very simple examples. I will try to show you more examples when we try to use the conditional statement. The next group of the operators, they are identity operators. So with the identity operator, we can check if an object is exactly this, is equal to the other object, or are those two objects pointing to the same place on the memory or not. So for example, at the beginning we created a list. X is a list of 3 numbers, 1, 2, 3, and then we said y will refer y equal to x. In fact, y refer to the same object as a x, and then we create another list z equal 1, 2, 3, but this time this list will be saved in another place on the memory, so it will not be equal to the x. So if we use the identity operator, we can say x is y. It means is x and y, they are the same object? Yes. So let's save the code and run the code to see the output. Yeah, is x same as a y? yeah, they are same, so it will return the true. But if we say is x same as a z, they are not same, so in fact it's return the false. And we have is not as well, so if you want to check if these two objects are different, we can use an is not operator, and it will true for x and z. And we have the membership operators, if you remember, to try to check if value belong to a specific groups. So for example, in this case, I created a list of fruits: apple, banana, orange, grape, and kiwi. And then we try to use the membership operator in. So we can say banana in fruit, and it will return true or false if banana is a value inside this list. In fact, the result will be true. Mango in fruit, no, because mango is not belong to this list. It will be false. And we have the same things with not in. It will, for example, cherry not in fruits, the result will be true, or grape not in fruits, the result will be false because grape is part of the list. And then we printed the result. So is banana in fruits, the result is true. Is mango in fruit, the result is false. Is cherry not in fruits, it's true. Is grape not in fruits, is false. This is a membership and is really important sometimes to check the value inside the group. We have the bitwise operators. So bitwise operators, as I mentioned, they try to use the bit representation of each value. If you have x and y, x equal 10 and y equal 6, so the binary representation for 10 will be this representation, and you need to start from the right hand side. So this one will be in fact 1, then 2, then 4, then 8. So this is the value for different position. And then we have 16, 32, 44, 64, 128, and so on. So you need to know about the binary representation or binary system to create the binary representation of each number. And if you try to use the bitwise operator and between those two, for example, for x and y. So if we try to check the bitwise result, 0 and 0 will be 0, 1 and 1 will be 1, 0 and 1 will be 0, and 1 and 0 will be 0. And because of that, the result will be this, but this is the binary representation, which is represent the number 2. We have the same things for OR, XOR, NOT, shift to the left, and also shift to the right. And if I try to run the code, you can see the bitwise, and the result will be 2. The bitwise or the result will be 14. Why? Because 0 and 0 will be 0, 1 and 1 will be 1, 0 and 1 will be 1, 1 and 0 will be 1. And this is the value for this position, different position. 1, 2, plus 4, plus 8. So it will be 14. And the NOT, it will try to use the NOT and XOR, not XOR, try to calculate the difference between these two values, and also the rest. I think you need to run those code by yourself and find out how they are working. I will not explain them anymore because they need a lot of time to explain, to convert the numbers. And finally, we have the operators precedence. So in fact, if you remember preceding, so in fact, each group of operators, they have different priorities. So for example, if you have A equal 10, B equal 5, and C equal 3, so the precedence for example, operators in this equation, we said result equal A plus B times C. But the times or multiplication has priority compared to the plus and minus, and because of that it will try to calculate this part and it will multiply B by C. So 5 times 3 will be 15, and then add the 15 with the 10, which will be 25. But if you try to start from the right, from the left hand, the result will be very different. If you try to, for example, add 10 plus B, it will be 15. 15 times 3, it will be 45. So it is a difference. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake here in the spelling. And then if you want to, for example, give the priority to the addition part or plus in these operations, so you need to put them inside the bracket or parentheses, and the result will be different. So if I try to run the code just to show you, yeah, the first result will be 25, the second one will be 45, and then if you have A times B exponential C, so it will run the exponential expression at the beginning, then it will run the multiplication, and because of that the result. So B exponential C, 5 exponential 3, it means 5 times 5 times 5, so the result will be 125, and if we 125 times 10, it will be 1250. And we have the same situation on the bottom. We have the floor division and division, but division will be run at the beginning, and then the floor division will be run, and the result will be that. You can play with those samples and you can learn from this, but definitely you need to know about the priority of each operators in a statement.